Good morning. So, welcome to your offline class. So, today's topic is going to be about antecedents and relative pronouns in page 138 and 139 from your textbook. So, you need to understand what is antecedents and what is relative pronouns. This is so easy that I don't think you need an online class for this, but just in case you got confused, I will still provide this video for clarification purposes. So, what's wrong with these sentences? President Alkira gave President Alkira's speech to the assembly. So, my mother's favorite possession is my mother's grandmother's green vase. So, you can see some words are being repeated when you can replace it with another word, which is pronouns. Pronouns are when you want to refer to yourself using her, his, its for non-human, her for girls, and his for guys. Okay, so President Alkira, assuming that President Alkira is a guy or a girl, a guy. Whenever that you want to mention President Akira for the second time, you can replace his name with his, the word his, okay? Instead of President Alkira gave President Alkira's speech to the assembly, you can replace that with President Alkira gave his speech to the assembly, okay? So my mother being a female, so my mother's favorite possession is her grandmother's green vase. So you replace the second mention of my mother's into her, okay? So her and his over here are considered as relative pronouns, and the subject you are referring to before mentioning the pronouns are called antecedents, okay? So if you said clumsy, you'll be right. You try rewriting them using the pronouns his and her. Something, oh yeah, President Alkira is indeed a guy. So yeah, President Alkira is the antecedent for the pronoun his. Identify the antecedent and pronoun in these sentences. So you want to identify antecedent with which is the subject, and you need to identify the pronoun which is referring to the subject, right? So my parents were very proud of their hardworking children. So my parents is considered as antecedent, and their is the pronoun. Maria, my sister, and I. So these three subjects are plural. So are very fond of our friendly pet snake. So Maria, my sister, and I, three of them are the antecedent, and our is a pronoun. Okay, so it's very important for you to know whether your subject is singular or plural, because you need to come up with the pronoun, with the proper pronoun. Okay, so each one of the girls scored a high mark in her test. Of course, you're talking, the subject over here is each one of the girls, right? But you're not talking about the girls, you are talking about each one of them, which is a singular subject. Okay, so the pronoun for each one of the girls will be her. Okay, each one is a singular antecedent and is replaced by a singular pronoun her. So yeah, the juicy mango tempts my taste buds as it sits on the table. So juicy mango is the antecedent and is replaced by a singular pronoun it. Okay, juicy mango is non-living things and it is uncountable noun. So whatever that is uncountable, you consider them as singular subject. Therefore, it complements or it follows with singular pronoun. Okay, then you can do this yourself from 1 to 7 in your comprehension book. Yeah, you must not just provide me the answers, because I will got confused, because I don't want to refer to the book and then see your answers. It's very difficult for me, so it's easier for you to just write everything down from 1 to 7 and then copy the question on top, fill in the gaps with the correct pronouns, And then you need to have the title on top, antecedents and relative pronouns. Okay. Next, relative pronouns. Okay, now we are only going to be talking about relative pronouns. So I assume by now you already understand what is relative pronouns, right? So what don't you like about these two sentences? The first two sentences over here, I talked to your teacher, full stop. He told me about your unfinished homework. This sentence, these two sentences are being divided into two parts, the first one and second one, when you can combine them into one, like the second one. I talked to your teacher who told me about your unfinished homework. Okay, because you're talking about the same person, the same subject. So instead of dividing the sentences into two, you can just combine them because, I mean, for real, you're talking about the same person, right? So you can combine them and join them up into one sentence, like this one. I like going out with my dad. He always finds me something interesting to do. So you just combine it using pronouns, relative pronouns, or by putting a comma in between, or you can just put conjunction. Now look at a different type. This is my favorite photo. It shows you the beach and the palm trees. A photo is a thing, so this is my favorite photo, which shows you the beach and the palm trees. Okay. It's basically the same thing. So fill in the gaps with the correct relative pronouns. So this one you need to do yourself. Start off from fill in the gaps with the correct relative pronouns right up till number 4 down here. Okay. Who's, who, you have learned this before. In page, let me check your textbook. 122, you have learned relative clauses, right? Relative clauses when you have 7 pronouns, which are who, whom, whose, that, which, when, where. So now you know how to include those relative clauses as the relative pronouns in these blanks. Okay. So if you have a question, you can ask me in Hangouts. That's it. Okay. Do your work now.